Good morning. We are in Luke chapter 22, starting at verse 7. Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. And he, Jesus, sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare the Passover for us, that we may eat. So they said to him, Where do you want us to prepare? And Jesus said to them, Behold. So he's going to give them some specific instructions that seem kind of odd to us. And I think they were odd to Peter and John as well. But the cool thing is, he gives strange instructions, but they obeyed. And God might be wanting to give us strange instructions as well. But he's calling us to obey as well. Let's see what happens here. Here's what Jesus said. Behold, when you have entered the city, a man will meet you carrying a pitcher of water. So stop right there. That was weird. You know what's weird about that? This is a man carrying a pitcher of water. Culturally, in that time period, this was the job of a woman. So right off the bat, Jerusalem is millions of people at this time. They're supposed to walk in and find this guy carrying a pitcher of water. To us, we might say, that's not weird at all. There's probably going to be 300,000 of them carrying pitchers of water. But no, it was weird. There probably was not too many men carrying pitchers of water. It truly might have been the only man in all of Jerusalem doing it. And then Jesus said, Follow him into the house which he enters. So you're just supposed to, today, someone might call the cops on you if you try doing something like this. But they followed this guy. Then you shall say to the master of the house, The teacher says to you, Where is the guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples? Then he will show you a large furnished upper room. There make ready. The room was already furnished. So Passover, there's lots of different things and utensils and special things that take place for this holiday. The whole thing was prepared. They probably still had to prepare the lamb, the food, but all the stuff was already there. God had already taken care of it. And let's finish here. In verse 13, it says, So they went and found it just as Jesus had said to them, and they prepared the Passover. So, question for you and for me, is God telling you to do anything weird? First off, have you even heard from God? Are you listening to God? See, many times we'll say, I just don't hear anything from God. I don't think he ever talks to me. Are you listening? If you said to a friend, and you just keep on talking, and then you walk away from that conversation, and someone asks you, this happens to me all the time, I'll go talk to somebody, and then I'll come home, and I'll talk to my wife about it. I was like, I was talking about this with this person, and she says to me, did you ever ask them how their day was? Did you ever ask them this, how they're feeling? I'm like, oh, no. And I feel like an idiot. I just talked the whole time and I didn't listen. Well, it's the same thing. It's a relationship with God. There needs to be a talking. We share our heart, but there also needs to be a listening. And the ways to listen, God's given us two main ways. One is through prayer, where we just be quiet. And I personally, here's what I do with my devotional time. That's where I try talking to God. I start it with reading a chapter in the Bible, because God actually, this message, this is a love letter written to us. And he gives it to us so that we know what he wants us to do. He does want to give us specific instructions for today about what to do. And he gives it to us through the Word. I personally read one chapter. If I read John chapter 7 today, then tomorrow I'm going to read John chapter 8. I'm just going to keep it systematic, going through the Bible. And that way it's no guess and check. It's not like, what do I want to study about with God today? What do I want him to say to me? No, I try and leave that in his court. Let him choose what he wants to say. So I'm just going to go through the Bible systematically and let him talk to me as he wants to. So I'll read that. I'll jot down a couple notes about what I feel he wants to talk to me about there. And then I'll try and spend about 10 minutes, maybe 15, just being quiet. I'll start it with, God, please speak to me in any way that you want to. And then different things that will come on my mind, in my heart, I'll jot down those as well. And in the end, read back through the whole thing. And then later that day or even the next day, things start coming together. Oh, this is what God was saying. God does want to talk to us in our regular lives today. And then throughout the day, continue in prayer. Pray always. Continue talking to God. Hey, God, this is what's happening. I just stubbed my toe. God, what should I do? We need to continue to talk to God all day long. Obey him. He's going to put things on your heart. Pray about it. Make sure it's what you truly feel God's wanting you to do. And then be bold. Step out and obey him. And I bet you're going to find that when you do that, things are going to be prepared just as God has already told you about. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Wait. Oh, I'm so glad I caught you. Hey, if you're liking what you see in here, be sure to subscribe. Click the bell so that you can get notifications. Thank you very much. Have a good one.